Hi, I'm Thomas,
I'm Richard.
and we'd like to welcome you to the second virtual Advent dinner bake-along. We thought it'd be fun to make some meringue Christmas trees this year. It's a short list of ingredients and pretty easy to prepare, but it does take a long bake time. So you may not, if you're baking along with us, you won't finish with us. We're going to cut to later on after the baking is done so we can show you how the recipe is finished. But we're glad you could join us, and let's get baking. The ingredient list is pretty short. You need 4 eggs, a cup minus 2 tablespoons of sugar, some table salt, and some cream of tartar. Also, if you want to make them a little extra special, you can have some very finely chopped up peppermint candies. And that's it for ingredients. For equipment, you'll either need a hand mixer with beater attachments or a stand mixer. You'll need some measuring spoons. You'll need a cookie sheet that's lined with parchment. Otherwise your meringues will stick to a cookie sheet if it's not lined. You'll need a timer, and you will also need a Ziploc bag with a pair of scissors, or you can use a piping bag with a piping tip. So the first thing to do is separate your eggs. We found the easiest way to do this is just to use impeccably clean hands. And what you can do is, once you crack the egg, put it in one hand and let the white fall through into a little dish and separate the eggs that way. We like to do it this way using a couple of bowls, because if one of the yolks should happen to break, you don't want to contaminate any whites that you've already separated. So we do them one at a time into one bowl, put it into the mixer bowl before we do the next one. So the first thing that you want to do, we've moved our mixer into view so you can see what's going on. You want to use, if you have a stand mixer, you want to use the whisk attachment. And the first thing you want to do is just start beating the eggs until they get white and foamy. And we'll start the mixer, and we'll show you what this looks like in just a few minutes. So this is what our egg whites look like after 1 minute of beating at a medium-high speed. So they're foamy and they've turned white. And at this point, you want to put your beater back on and lift your bowl. And you're going to mix in 1/4 teaspoon of salt and 1/4 teaspoon of cream of tartar. And then you'll beat the egg whites again until you get soft peaks. And we'll start the mixer and let it go for a while, and then pause the video, and then we'll show you what soft peaks look like and tell you how long it took to reach that point. So here we go. So this is what the egg whites look like after about another minute of beating. And you can see, if you take the beater out of the meringue and lift it up, the meringues will sort of flop over in a soft peak. So the next thing you want to do is set your timer for 7 minutes. And then gradually, over the course of those 7 minutes, just a teaspoon at a time, add your sugar to the meringue. So this is what the meringue looks like after 7 minutes of beating. And you really want to take the whole 7 minutes to add your sugar. If you add it too fast, you could have grainy meringues, which aren't the most pleasant to eat. And so you can see it's very thick, it's very glossy, and it should pipe beautifully. So we're going to move some things out of the way and go on to the final step before they go in the oven. So it's important to remember, if you're using a piping bag and a tip, you have to put the tip in before you fill the bag. So put your tip down in the end of the bag and squeeze it to the end, and then just use a pen or a pencil and make a small mark about halfway up the tip so you know where to cut the bag. And then you take the tip out, and following that mark, you just cut a hole in the bag, maybe not quite as high as that mark, a little lower. And then you put your tip back in the bag and push it all the way to the end so it's nice and snug. And you're ready to go and fill your bag. Now, you can fill your bag using your hand and just putting the bag over it like a cup, hold it back like a cup, and then fill it. Or you can use a glass and actually stand the bag in the glass and let that do the work for you. But Richard's pretty good at filling the bag, so he's just going to do it on his hand. So he's going to, with each spoonful, he's going to push it down as far as he can, get it as close to the tip, and then he's going to scrape the side of the spatula on his hand inside the bag to get off the meringue.
Do you want to put it all in?
No, I would just do about that much. You don't want your bag too full because then it gets hard to control and to handle. So probably 3 big spoonfuls are good to start. And then you want to fold your cuff back up and push your meringue down into the tip, down to the bottom of the bag. Before you close it up, you want to push the meringue as far down as you can get it. So now we're almost ready to pipe our Christmas trees. The one thing you have to do, though, is put a little bit of meringue on the cookie sheet underneath the parchment to make sure that you just fold it back and put a little dab there to hold the parchment down. Otherwise, it will lift up as you're piping your trees. So Richard's got his parchment anchored down. And again, he's going to hold the bag straight up and down and pipe a big base to his tree. He's going to turn the bag just a little bit to do the middle, and then turn it just a little bit more to do the top. So a big one on the bottom, and then a little twist to the bag, and a medium one, and then the small one on top. And Richard's going to do another one, a big one on the bottom, and then he's going to lift up, twist the bag a little bit, medium one, lift up, twist the bag a little bit, and a small one on top. And if you have a little wonky tree, that's fine, because we all know they don't grow straight and true in the woods.
Go again.
Get a big base, lift up, medium middle, lift up, and a small top. So after piping all your trees, you should have a nice little forest of diverse trees. And what you can do to make them a little special is take some crushed up peppermint candies and just sprinkle them all around the trees. Don't be stingy. You want to show a little bit of color and add a little bit of peppermint flavor. And you want it to fall down on the sides as well, not just on the top. And once you get your peppermint on your trees, they're ready to go in the oven. So now it's time to bake. So you want to put your meringues in an oven that's about between 150 and 170 degrees Fahrenheit. It's a very low oven. And you're going to put them in for about 2 hours. And what we like to do is halfway through, after about an hour, just switch them around, put the top rack where the bottom one is, and switch them front to back.
Our meringue Christmas trees are out of the oven. We have left them in for about 3 hours. You can take them out after 2 hours or so, or if you like a crispier meringue, turn the oven off and leave them in to cool. You can leave the meringue trees the way they are, or finish them by dipping the bottoms in melted chocolate.
Or you can use a toothpick or a skewer to poke a small hole in the bottom of the meringue and then set them on a Hershey's Kiss as a tree trunk. There are endless ways that you can customize your meringue Christmas trees. You can color the meringue with green food coloring, you can sprinkle them with colored nonpareils, or any number of other decorations. We hope you enjoyed this video and will make this festive treat for your friends and family. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.